What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Ashley L. of I'm the Mama podcast, where we discuss the ins, the outs, and everything in between of being a mom. I'm so excited for you joining me today as we're going to be discussing a topic that I think is near and dear to a lot of us moms. We're going to be talking about, I titled it, Mama's Gotta Work. And we're going to be talking about, some various things that I experienced in regards to having an infant and having to be, you know, placed back into the work field and just the different things that was going on in my mind during that time. So we're going to definitely touch on that in just a moment, which I'm so excited to talk about. But before we do that, and jump into today's topic, I do want to give a quick shout out to my lady circle. Some of my ladies I haven't seen in almost 2 years, if not maybe even a little bit longer than that. And others I've seen a little bit more frequently. But regardless, I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you all. So, we may do different things in regards to someone may send me something just to make me laugh, a video on Instagram or Facebook, just to lighten up the day, or sending me a random text message to let me know that they're thinking about me, or a deep convo that I haven't had in a while, or even just the genuine love that we do have and that we share amongst each other. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and never take any of this for granted. And so again, just thank you, thank you, thank you. So one thing about me, this mama has been so focused on, I've been working hard on my physical, been working out 5 days a week, which I'm so grateful to say. Nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to keep going. I've been working on my mental health, been working on my spiritual growth, and not to leave out that I'm still learning how to be able to balance between, wanting to be a great mom, wanting to be a great wife, wanting to do outstanding at my job, wanting to focus and really give my all for my side businesses as well. And I feel kind of like, I'm in a circus a little bit. There's a lot that I'm trying to juggle, but it's important to have, a good, genuine group of friends that can help you during those times. So let me just tell you about this past weekend. Me and some of my friends, we got together and we went out for a morning brunch. And we actually went to a place called Gotcha's Breakfast Bar. It was amazing. Ambiance was great. The food was delicious. And then after that, we went to the movies for a matinee to see The Woman King, which was a great movie. Now, I'll be honest, at first, sad to say, because I don't really watch TV, I didn't know much about the movie, but then when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely something I want to go check out. So we all went and saw the movie, shed some tears. I was clapping in the movie. I was like, oh, I know who I'm going to be for Halloween this year. It was that amazing. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please take out the time to go see that movie. It is such a great movie. But anyways, it was just great. Most of us that went out, most of us are moms. And so it just felt good to share some good vibes, some good energy, and some good girl time. And I'm definitely looking forward to many more mommy moments, self-care mommy moments for that. But it felt good. And so again, just thank you, ladies. And for, if you don't have a friend circle, I definitely recommend making sure that you have a good support group of women that's got you. Okay. Now, again, I titled today's episode pertaining to Mama's Gotta Work. And like many moms, after you have had your little one, you do struggle with the thought of going back to work. It's not something that comes light on the mind as you're sitting here bonding and taking time out, still getting to learn your little one and your little one's learning you. And so I think that's something that many moms, such as myself, actually struggle with. So some of the things that you may be thinking about, again, when your maternity leave is coming close to ending, is like, how how you will never really get any rest. That is one thing that sparked my mind, is like, I'm already not getting much rest now, and then you're talking about me having to go back to work. I'm really not about to be getting any rest, because I'm not getting any now. So okay, how am I going to be able to balance that of no sleep at all? How am I going to be able to be productive at work if I'm not getting any rest at all? And then another thing that I was thinking about, which you may have encountered as well, is the separation anxiety between you and your baby. I'm like, we have this, and we're developing such a great bond. And yeah, 8 weeks is just not enough time. Some jobs offer more. Shout out to my current job, who actually offers 16 weeks, and then some will offer even more than that. But during that time, my job only offered 8 weeks. And so I'm like, this is not enough time. Like, we're just really getting to know each other. We have this great bond that we're building, and it's just not enough time for us. And so I dealt with that anxiety. And then also, if you're a nursing mom, such as like I was during that time, you're not wanting to take out the time, if you do have to go in the office, taking out the time to have your pumping sessions. Nursing to me was so much easier. And so fortunately, I had the ability to work from home. But I still incorporated pumping. But that was one thing that sparked my mind, because again, during maternity leave, you just come directly onto me. And then now it's like, okay, I don't really want to take away from work. So I'm going to have to implement more pumping sessions. And again, shout out to those moms that actually have to go to work, where you physically have to drive away from your child and go to a location. And then again, take out that time, whether it be in your car, or if hopefully your office has, a location specifically for you to be able to nurse. But yeah, to be able to do that and keep up with it, and the list goes on of many more things that you probably thought about during that time. But again, regardless, it's a step in the journey that many of us find ourselves having to take. And so the struggle was real. So I do want to give a little bit of a report that I found. According to S.2 and S research, out of 1,000 working moms, 82% found themselves concerned about maintaining a healthy work-life balance. All right. Now, you do want to be sure to remain professional and an asset to your company, but also you're wanting to be an amazing mom to your newborn. And so it can be challenging to be able to find that sweet spot, right? So in regards to my situation, again, during my maternity leave, I was actually working with a different company than I am right now. And again, they were very, very much only allowing me to take the 8 weeks and 8 weeks only. They weren't bending, regardless of how my cesarean, was in pain and everything like that. They're like, yep, 8 weeks, you're coming back. Okay. And then not only that, they put on me, okay, Ashley, we're actually thinking about in a month, we're going back into the office. Wait, what? So not only are you not giving me more time to heal, but you're also now telling me that you want me to come back to the office. I haven't been back in the office now for over a year and a half, almost 2 years. And so it was like, wait a minute, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. And so during that time, again, when they told me that we were going to be going back in the office, and I knew I wasn't comfortable with that. Again, if you've recalled in, prior episodes, I discussed, I do experience with COVID anxiety, and it's something that I'm definitely working on, but it's a thing. And so it was a huge no-go for me. Like, nope, I'm not stepping foot back in the office. I asked if there was any way that it could be optional, at least until my son got older. It wasn't optional. And so you know what your girl had to do. I started applying at other jobs. Okay. So, while I'm still, during that time, I'm in the ropes of trying to learn how to balance, being a mom and taking care of myself as best as possible. Yeah, I started applying for jobs because, again, going back into the office was not something that I was personally willing to do or feeling comfortable with doing at that time. And I had actually been working with this company for 4 years. But again, amongst applying for that job, when my son was asleep, I was applying for jobs, and I I found another position. And so I did decide to go ahead and quit. Again, with you telling me something like that, that's a big concern of mine, pretty much wasn't a factor. Had to make the best decision for myself and my sanity, right? And so I was able to accept a new position with an amazing company that I currently still work for at this time. And they offered amazing benefits. And the biggest thing is that my position would be permanently remote. And so you won me with that. So one thing about it, I was just excited again for the opportunity to now be able to stay at home. But then some things also settled because, again, my maternity leave was ending. I'm applying for jobs, meaning that obviously they were looking to hire me pretty quickly as well. So literally a week after I quit my job is when I actually started my new position. So I had just one extra week, needless to say. So I had 9 weeks of maternity leave, and then boom, I had to get back to work because they had a certain start date. And if I wanted to start working with this company, I did have to start on that start date. Now, a part of that's probably my fault because I didn't inform them that I was a new mom. I was actually on maternity leave. I didn't inform them of anything like that just because of the fear of not knowing how that will be taken. It's bad to think about it, but I feel like some jobs, despite them wanting to, show themselves as being equal and things like that, I feel like that if you tell them that, hey, I'm a new mom, they will kind of put this stereotype on you as you're not going to be a hard worker, or you're going to be too focused on your child, or will you really be able to balance work life? Or even I've heard this, you'll probably quit soon because you'll really realize that you don't want to be working at this time. So those are different things that I didn't want to be placed upon me during the interview process. So I didn't let them know actually until maybe about 6 or 8 months of working with the company. I actually informed management and things like that, that during that time I was a new mom. And again, at that time, my son was only like eight months. And they're like, wait a minute, doing the math, like, wait, how is that possible? It was pretty interesting. But yeah, that was one thing I decided I wasn't going to share because I did want this new opportunity and I didn't want that to be a reason of why they didn't move forward with me. So anyways, here I am, accepted a new position. So now I'm faced with, learning a new company. When you get a new job, you have to learn the ropes of a new company, your new position, and that takes time. Trying to figure out a schedule for me and my son now, because fortunately, I had my parents that were able to step in. But then also, we did decide to go ahead and hire a nanny during the times where my parents weren't able to help out. So we're appreciative, again, of them being able to step in. And then again, I feel like we're a lucky one. We were blessed to be able to come across an amazing nanny. That process alone was a headache. Going on different websites, care.com. I think there was like maybe 4 or 5 different nanny sites that I had joined. And then, you have to pay a little extra to be able to communicate and things like that. And so it was a little nerve-wracking because I at that time, I didn't trust anyone with my son. And I realized that at some point, if this is a step that we're going to be doing, I have to, for one, get comfortable and just follow, the steps that I had in regards to doing the interview process, but trusting and believing that everything was going to work out like it should. And so went through the interview processes with a few different ladies and decided on an amazing nanny that we still have now, which we're so blessed and so grateful for. She's such an asset to our lives. But I was nervous. I was nervous of this whole change. The thought of this change just really struck me in a way that I don't think that I was really prepared for. But again, I knew that it was necessary and that everything would begin to hopefully flow smoothly soon. And so again, getting the new nanny in the same time while I'm working a new position, trying to balance that out, but she just kind of jumped right in and allowed me the ability to really focus on my new position. And so, and I was right. The transition, regardless of how much I was afraid of it, ended up going exactly as it should. Um, I have heard other people's stories where it was a little bit different, but I will say when it comes to that nanny process, the biggest recommendations that I can provide is, for one, make sure that you know specifically what you're looking for, whether that be a certain amount of days or hours that you're looking for. You know, do you want them to help educate your child, or are they just sitting there watching your child? You know, be very specific. This is an interview. You are the employer. Your household is the employer. Are you wanting them to clean? Are you wanting them to cook the baby food? Are you wanting them to wash clothes? Be very, very specific with what it is that you're wanting. I feel like for me in my household, we were pretty basic. We just wanted our son to be taken care of, and we wanted to make sure that who was watching him would be able to help him learn and help educate him throughout that process as well. Because daycare wasn't really something that we were looking to incorporate him in. And so, again, we did come across that, but being sure to be very, very specific. And again, treating this as your business. It's okay to do multiple interviews. I actually did, for each one of them, I did a phone interview and then I did an in-person interview. The phone interview, if you that phone interview was multiple questions that I had and giving them the ability to ask me questions as well. And then if you pass that part, then we're setting up a time for you to come over to the house for like an hour or two. One, for me to engage with you a little bit more in person, and then allow you to have maybe 30, 45 minutes to an hour to be with my son. So by yourself, so we can see how he acts with you. And so again, don't take it lightly. This is your child. This is their future. Before they get into school, and this is setting the tone of what you're desiring. And so don't let up lightly on it. All right. That's my recommendation when it comes to a nanny, seeking childcare for that matter. But again, now we have our nanny, things are good. So now the biggest next adjustments I had to go through with my mind is, he's starting to now eat solid foods, so I was that mom that decided to prepare his foods. I didn't want to get the jars and things like that. I wanted it to be fresh. And so preparing his foods for him. And then of course, as he got older and more active, his schedule started to change, allowing for various activities so that he could get tired and sleep longer, and have good naps. And even that alone, the naps changed, where he was sleeping, every 2-3 hours. Then it became like every 4 hours. And so, and even now, I feel like he could go longer if we allow him to, but fortunately, he's on a very tight schedule. And so we still get those 2 naps in a day. I'm not mad at it. That's how I'm able to shoot some of these podcasts, because he is napping and napping well. Shout out to the naps. And then another thing, again, regarding adjustments is, with me being a nursing mom, he did go through this period where he just refused to take the bottle. He had been taking the bottles all throughout having his childcare. But then it got to a moment where he just didn't want the bottle nipple anymore. He wanted the real thing. And so I did have to step in and help nurse him because he needed those nutrients and things like that. So being willing to adjust. All right. That's another thing when it comes to that work-life balance, because it's not going to be the same day to day. Majority it should, but just know that it is a possibility that things may change up, and that's okay. But being aware of that, and then again, so fortunate that I was working at home, again, a requirement for me, so that when those changes did take place, I was able to step in and help out when needed. And so I do want to go over some helpful tips that I had to incorporate to help with my workday when it came to now having a work-life balance. All right. So the very first thing I would recommend is making sure that management, is aware that you do have an infant. Again, whether it be you just came off from maternity leave from the same job, so they should already know, or if you take a step like myself. Again, I let them know that I had a young one, but I didn't let him, or a little one, but I didn't let them know how young he was at that time. As I continued to grow after training, which was a month long, then I started to have better conversations just to enlighten them. But biggest thing is just making sure that your management is aware that you have an infant. And also in my case, it was important for me to let them know that childcare was taking place in my home. That way, at any moment, if anything changed, they would understand why. Okay, her nanny's at the house. Her son is at the house with her. And so that way they are in the know of everything. I felt like I wanted to acknowledge this because, again, the possibility of flexibility that may be needed from me. All right. Another one is being comfortable with informing management that I was a nursing mom. I had no shame in my game with that. And so I felt very comfortable with letting them know that I'm a nursing mom, which allowed me to be able to set up reoccurring blocks in my schedule for nursing or pumping, and being able to set up time in addition to that to clean my items when I was pumping. Again, I wanted to make it very transparent to them that no, I'm not out here just shooting the breeze, chilling, eating multiple lunches and snacks a day. No, I'm handling business for my son. And so again, it takes having that communication with them and them being comfortable with knowing, okay, this is the period where I don't need to schedule a meeting because Ashley is taking time out for her son during this time. Now, fortunately for me, what I did is my body was on a schedule. And so there were 3 times during my work period that I had time set aside for either nursing or pumping. And I set it up for 22 minutes a day, and or sorry, 22 minutes per block. And so again, they knew to schedule things around that time. They didn't disturb me during that time. And again, it's because I took that step in making sure of communicating with them what that was. Being transparent is going to be the best thing to me during this process. That way, again, they understand what you're doing. Okay. Another thing is, having childcare in a completely separate area than where you are working. So this is important. The way that our house is structured, my son was able to have a whole area to himself where it didn't disturb dad nor I during our work hours. And what this allowed is for, technically to still kind of seem as if I'm leaving, even though I'm still in the house, but it allowed him not to see me, to prevent him from wanting to engage with mommy. And again, still sort of seem like I'm leaving for the day, where he has his own area to play, to interact. Only time he would see me is when he did come up to eat. But again, I made sure to schedule that time period for him to eat where I wasn't on an important call or anything like that. All right. Another one, I recommend getting the Daily Nanny app, or an app that's similar to the Daily Nanny app. And this is where your child's caregiver can keep you abreast on their day. I personally love this app. It's an amazing app because it's like a daily tracker. It's very helpful because I could see at the end of the day how his day went. I didn't have to wait and have a discussion at the end of the day each day, because realistically, I may still be in a meeting while he's down for a nap when she's leaving during that time. And so again, I'm able to just read over the notes, see what things that he did for the day, activities done, how many diapers he had, what type of diapers he had, any incidents that may have taken place for the day. It's a very, very great way to, again, stay in tune with your child's day so you don't feel like you're missing anything. Another great benefit is you're able to take pictures. So she would take pictures throughout the day with him and place them in there. And I felt like I wasn't missing much, especially in the beginning, because I'm still able to stay engaged with this information. And then even that, because of how detailed that she is with his day-to-days, this actually came very useful when it came to his doctor's appointments as well, when they would ask, what progression is he doing? Or how has his stools been? Or has there been anything pertaining to anything irregular that's been happening for him? I have my tracker there. I have all my notes from her. when the times where I'm not around to see how his day went. So it was very, very helpful. I actually keep up with it myself. I still do it to this day, putting in my notes, even on the weekends, because it's just something that I like, that visibility in regards to his day to day. All right. And then another helpful tip that I have is, be sure to take time away from your workspace and take a breather away from work. So again, this is outside of those sessions, nursing and pumping sessions. This is for you to be able to take a moment to just breathe, step away from the workspace. You're not around your infant. Take a moment for you. Okay. Now, another thing that goes right along with that, if you need to take a day off, don't feel bad about it. All right. Work is going to be work. Work is going to be there, but take the day off if you need to. If you're juggling a lot and you just feel overwhelmed and that, again, you need to take a moment away from it all, do it. Take it. Okay. I used to be one that didn't like missing work. I guess I kind of can blame that from back in the day. I was a perfect attendance student. And so I guess that just kind of transpired into my work background as well, where I'd never like missing work unless if it's for vacation. But I realized, and fortunately with my job now, management is really big on taking time out for yourself, especially if you just need a day away from it all. A mental day is what they like to call it. Do what's best for you and listen to yourself. Okay. And then the very last one is going to be being sure to utilize your partner as well as your village, whether it's a convo that you want to have, just, support that you're needing, or just an extra set of hands. Even if it's just for the day, don't be ashamed or afraid to ask for help. Okay. Now I'm learning, mamas, we can't do it all. We try. No matter how hard we try, we don't need to do it all, and we shouldn't have to do it all. All right. So this is something that I'm currently working on as well. But again, don't burn yourself out. Okay. Leverage the help that you have. Take the opportunity when you need to. All right. Those are my personal helpful recommendations when it comes to getting back into the work field after having a child. Now, that's the details that I have for today. I do have, instead of an inspirational quote for the day, I did grab a summary from another mother. It's coming from pregnantchicken.com. It's another mother summarizing her feelings during her transaction, which I could definitely relate to, and you may be able to relate to as well. So this is what she was saying. It's normal to love what you do for a living and still not want to leave your child and go back to work. All right. It's also normal to love your child dearly and be totally okay not being at home all day. It's normal to wonder at 4 a.m. how you're going to get through the day. That goes back to what I was saying earlier about being up all night, just wondering how the heck am I about to get through this day today? That's okay. It's normal. It's also normal to wonder at 10 p.m. how you're going to get through tomorrow. It's normal to leave your child with someone when they are melting down and feel a little guilty for leaving, but still at the same time, secretly relieved that you don't have to deal with this particular crisis. And lastly, it's normal to be happy to be with your baby at the end of the day, but still kind of wishing that it was time to put them down for sleep so that you can finally collapse on the couch and eat your dinner. All right. All those things are normal. All right. Mamas, I'm going to keep saying it time and time again. Give yourself grace throughout this process. Motherhood isn't easy, but it is beautiful. All right. The transition between spending all this time during maternity leave with your child and having to go back to work, it isn't an easy transition. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you and say that it is or that it was, but You can do it. All right. Biggest thing is that you have to take it just one day at a time. You have to listen to yourself. Okay. Listen to your body. Listen to your mental. How are you feeling? All right. Give yourself grace. All right. So that's all that I have time for today. I do want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, continuing to like, follow, share, comment, and as always, being sure to subscribe so that you can stay up to date on my latest content. I want you to be sure to tune in to the next episode. We are going to be discussing a big question that I've asked myself. Am I too attached to my little one? That's a hard question, right? I know a lot of people, I know for me, I love being around my son. But some people may be like, you are too attached. What is too attached? We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. All right. Now, until next time, I do want you to keep your head up because remember, your little one is watching and admiring you all the time. I want you to continue to take care. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Your girl, Ashley L. on I'm the Mama Podcast. See ya.